We're going to get a
wide
thumbs
shot.
up
Yeah.
when we are live. Good evening. No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that this go round. Good people, what's going on? Welcome back to B.L.E.S.C in the City. My name is Rashid Chambers, one of your hosts, and I have the privilege of introducing my co-host, Erica Bermudez.
Yes, peace and love, kings and queens. Peace and love. Now, before we get into everything and anything, we are going to do the disclaimer, okay? And it goes as such. Any of the conversations, comments, anything that you hear on tonight's show and every show is explicitly the comments and conversation, the views and opinions of the panelists that you see here tonight. It does not in any way reflect Kearney Point Studios, or its employees. And it also does not reflect the opinions of the B.L.E.S.C organization. It is just the panelists that you see here. Thank you so much. And now we're going to go, well, before we get into hitting the block, I don't want to not introduce our guest. We will get into conversations with her later, but we have the wonderful, the educator, the speaker, the extraordinaire, the poet, poet too. Oh, see, author. She got a lot of titles, honey.
Right.
Miss Karima McKenzie. We have her here tonight, so let's applaud her.
Gratitude.
And then we're going to get into hitting the block, and I'm going to pass it on to Mr. Rashid Chambers.
All right, so hitting the block. We're very, very, very happy that our community stays vibrant and stays active with all the things that are going on. People, pay attention. There's always something going on in your areas, definitely in the Jersey City area. But first thing I'd like to touch on, we got some, things that are coming up, and I know Erica is going to talk about some of the things that are coming up as well. So we have the Unity Walk that's coming up very, very, very soon, and I need you guys to actually pay attention to that because it's going to be, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the 7th annual Unity Walk. Now, the Unity Walk is kicked off by the Anti-Violence Coalition of Hudson County, which is spearheaded by its director-in-chief, who is Pam Johnson, and she's been doing amazing work as far as, violence prevention with their whole STOP campaign. STOP, is an acronym for statistics, targeting, opportunity, and prevention. And they deal in all those different avenues. So when you get a chance, definitely, it's going to be the second week of second Saturday of June. So make sure that you definitely are paying attention. And I also like to shout out to I Love Greenville, another organization that I've been watching very, very, very close. They're going to have a meet and greet, and this is a collaboration with them and Rising Tide. So if you're an entrepreneur, aspiring entrepreneur, or someone who's just looking to learn just a little bit more about, like self-financing and things that are associated with people who, step out there, those of us who charge forward in that lonely space of working for yourself. Definitely stop on by. That's going to be held between 5 and 10, I believe, and that's going to be June 7th. But you do have to register, and somewhere along the lines, we'll definitely make sure that we have a link to that in the comments below. So shout out to them. And finally, there was a gala. I'm just honored because there was the first inaugural Unity Gala. This was another event hosted by the Anti-Violence Coalition of Hudson County. They had some great honorees, one of them being future Senator or Angela V. McKnight.
Speak it into existence. Let's go.
Angela V. McKnight, she was honored. Denise Wilkerson from, she's the councilwoman in Roselle. She was also honored. Amazing women. Bill O'Day, has been a great friend to B.L.E.S.C since its inception. He was also commissioner. I'm sorry, let me put some respect on his name. He was also honored and stuff. Small mention, I was also honored. But
let's clap. No small mentions. Let's clap it up. That's right.
It was definitely nice to be there. It was
the big back invasion is in the big. Oh no, he didn't.
Did he come in with a?
No. We not matching. No. No. You got to take that off. The big back invasion is here. Dana, can you do me a favor, please? Dana.
We still live.
I know we still live, but I still need water. Dana, could you give me a glass of water, please? Thank you. Dana is in the building. We got to give Dana a shout out because there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. And without Scott, Dana, and Alea, who is not here tonight. We hope you feel better, Alea. But without the people working behind the scenes, we wouldn't be able to do the things that we do here.
Agreed.
So thank God for Dana, because my mouth is perched, and I don't want colleague telling me that I'm dry. So
you know what? And I'm happy that you're no longer dry, because we got to stay hydrated, people.
Yes.
That's definitely important. Well, I'm sorry for being late.
No, you're right on time.
Erica tried to lock me out, but a good thing I know people in higher places, so I was able to get in. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening,
brother
Colin.
Rob. Good evening. How are you,
Yes.
good brother?
I'm good, brother. I'm good, man.
And-
Just over here.
And Rod, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I wanted you to continue your hitting the block.
We were pretty much done. That was
Okay.
pretty much all I had for hitting the block on this side. Just shout out once again to the amazing work that is being done. And I wanted to make sure that I highlight some of the very important women that have been killing it out here. I Love Greenville is, if you look at that organization, it's so well ran. It's so, it's just an amazing. I'm on the steering committee there as well. It's just amazing because the leadership, is reflected by a lot of these great women that I mentioned previously. So shout out to them, including Jillian, who never gets the credit, or
Shout out,
shout
out to
Tiffany
Jillian,
McQuarrie
man.
as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. And for hitting the block, first of all, I did want to congratulate all of the honorees that Rashid mentioned, yourself included, Miss Angela McKnight and future Senator Angela McKnight
Right.
and Commissioner
Speaking
Bill
of
O'Day. Yes, I want to give a shout out to all of the people who were honored at that wonderful gala. What was the gala again?
This was the Unity Gala.
Unity Gala by
the
the,
inaugural Unity. So it's their
That's
first
the anti-violence coalition, right?
of
So
Hudson County. Yep.
shout out to them and congrats to all of the honorees. I just have two quick things that I want to mention.
Make them quick.
Add for hitting the block. And another disclaimer. I don't want to jack this name up, so I'm going to say it the best I can. But next Tuesday, June 6th, from 6 to 9 p.m., there will be the Nyamwenge Foundation Scholarship Gala.
Say that 3 times.
I'm not going to try to say it again.
Okay.
But I do want to speak to the Nyawenge Foundation and everything that they do. Every year, they give scholarships to deserving students across Jersey City. And I could be wrong. Maybe it's across Hudson County. I don't want to overstep and say the wrong thing. But this brother also has been putting together an organization that he has trying to get people to go back to Africa. He's from Kenya.
Repatriation.
Yes, and
Nice.
he's definitely been trying to do that for quite some time now. But he is having his first scholarship gala. Now, he's been doing scholarships for many years, but this is the first actual gala that he's having, and I did want to shout him out. Once again, that is the Nyawenge Scholarship Gala, and it will be this coming Tuesday from 6 to 9 at the Liberty House. And if you're interested in tickets, you can go to the Nyawenge website, and that's nyawenge.org, and I'm going to spell it. That's NYAMWANGE.org. I'm going to spell it one more time. NYAMWANGE.org. And we will also put that in the comments. And lastly, for hitting the block, June 6th is also another special day. It is election day. And we talked about it on our last show. And I don't want to emphasize again how important elections are. You have a voice, and this
She
election.
said, I don't want to emphasize
No,
again.
I don't want to emphasize again, but I did it
don't.
anyway.
And I'm not.
Do it anyway.
But I'm doing it
We
anyway.
don't care. Go ahead.
But listen, local elections is paramount, okay? It's more important than federal elections. I'm not saying that the federal elections aren't important, but the reason why local elections are more important is because the legislation, the laws and stuff that's passed, the people that you elect in are the people that you're going to hold accountable. It's important that you go and vote in who you want to vote in. And then don't be mad when you say, oh, this person and they ain't doing that. Well, did you vote?
Oh, they're going to be mad.
Oh, they're going to be mad. Well, listen, we have county exec, we have senator, we have commissioners. I don't want to go through the list of people because it depends on your district. So there's a plethora of people. Please go to your county's website, whether it's the county clerk's website, Hudson County Clerk, Essex County Clerk, Monmouth County Clerk, because it's within the whole state of New Jersey. So please, please, please do your due diligence. I meant to bring my ballot, but it wouldn't matter. I'm in a completely different district. And all of a sudden, I'm Ward A. I was Ward F, and now I'm Ward A. But we're not going to get into that topic.
Story.
Well,
That's a whole nother.
We covered that probably like 3 different episodes.
Yeah, but we're going to keep covering it because I ain't voting.
I will reiterate how important that voting is.
Yes.
Hell, Google Vote. You know what I mean? It's going to pop about. I mean, find your area and really make a conscious decision. Again, if you're not part of the solution, you're definitely part of the problem.
Absolutely.
So we need to keep encouraging people, like Erica said, to vote. And I believe that's it for Hitting the Block.
Yes, that's it for Hitting the Block.
We do have a great guest today.
Yes. Clap it up, clap it up.
And we definitely want to, welcome with open arms Miss McKenzie. And she's going to break down exactly who she is and what she's been able to present today. And we're going to dive into her book as well. So, good people, blessed. Let's clap it up.
Clap it up.
All right. Rashid Chambers, that was a clap. He was clapping it up. Thank you, sir.
I was promoting our brand.
Oh.
I apologize.
Okay, continue.
Let me get back to that.
Right. Thank you very much. So I want to say welcome to the B.L.E.S.C family.
So happy to be here.
Yes, we're happy to have you.
Right, man. A couple of our members actually reached out to us about you, and then
Really?
Erica brought you up. Yeah, so we
That's pretty
definitely we're thankful to have you here. Can you start off by telling the good people of B.L.E.S.C who you are?
Well, I'm Karima McKenzie. Jersey City, born and raised. Graduate of 16 school, Ferris High School, and went on to college at TC&J, studied math education, and was a college athlete, and came back directly from TC&J to Jersey City to be an educator in these streets.
Right.
So I'm in my 18th year.
Oh, beautiful.
And I've taught at 40 School, Ferris High School, and now I am vice principal at Henry Snyder High School.
Yes.
Look at that.
I've also been the athletic director there.
Oh,
So
okay. Great.
I've been toggling between educating, athletics,
Right.
and just a lot of moving parts.
Jack of all trades.
Yes. And they both equally important, especially in
Yeah,
our
absolutely.
communities, man. And
Yes.
I just want to first commend you for all those schools that most people would consider the challenging schools.
Yes.
It seemed like because you're all where you are now, you never veered away from them. So before you dive into your book,
Yep.
but tell us, what is something that constantly encourage you to take on those tasks, because these are considered our troubled kids. All of those schools you named, they're in the heart of what they call the hood.
Yes. I'll never forget my first interview, coming back fresh, wet behind the ears with my college degree, and I interviewed with 40 School.
Right.
And so I don't know if you know how Jersey City works. Sometimes you get the interview with one school before you go to a job fair.
Right.
Just so happens that my first interview was with 40 School before I even went to the job fair.
Principal Smith over at
No.
40 now.
No,
Oh yeah, he's
that's-
at 40 now.
yeah.
Yeah, but at the time it was Anna Ortiz Rivas.
Okay.
And she called me within literally hours of the interview before I could even go to the job fair, because she said, as soon as they see you, they're going to snatch you up. So would you want the job here at 40 School? Now I'm like, dang, this is my first opportunity. I
Right.
kind of want to see what
What's out
else
there.
is out there.
Right.
But I just went with my gut intuition, which told me, 40 was the right place to start. And it certainly was. It was in the trenches, and I still have relationships with my first students today.
Ain't that great?
Like, they're more friends now, which is kind of crazy. We're a little like 8 or 9 years apart,
Right.
Yeah,
They're
so-
like 31-year-olds right now, and they
Right.
see me and they still see that I'm an educator right now.
Right.
So it just means so much to
Right.
be in the community where I can not only educate, but also when I see students on the block,
Right.
I grew up on Union Street. My mom is still there. I got a house around the corner on Minerva Street. And I literally the other day just went by my mom's, and I was like, going up the block and one of the kids from Snyder, and I'm like, get off my block. You know, just stuff
Right,
like that. Just
right.
being able for them to see me, and he's like stunned, like,
Right.
what's Miss Kinsey doing? No, I'm from here.
Right.
You know, and I want my students to know that it doesn't matter where you're from.
Right.
You know what I mean? You could accomplish and achieve every single thing that you put your mind to. And I'm a
Well,
product.
sometimes
I'm a
it
product of
does
that.
matter where you come from, especially if you're trying to relate to the demographic in which you're going to serve in. I know that was a very big part of it when B.L.E.S.C was first formed, you know, like created. That was our biggest concern. Blacks
Absolutely.
in law enforcement
That's right,
servicing
serving
Their community.
Right.
Yes.
You know, and actually there was in there. We got rid of
We
it
got rid
because
of
it
it.
didn't make no damn
Nah,
sense.
Sure.
The acronym was messed
Right.
up. So,
Yeah, we had to remove it.
yeah, so
Yes.
it had to be removed. So yeah, it really does. Not in a sense where, you know, like, yes, it's important, you know, like for the optics, but definitely understanding that the person who's teaching you has the best interest because they are you.
Right.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Means a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's that connection that needs to be there in order for us to really truly thrive, right?
Correct.
Because I mean, if I don't understand you, man, me personally, I'm not going to be interested.
Correct.
You know, especially a younger version of me. You know what I mean? And you know, that's definitely important.
This
good
version
bro-
too.
good.
It's what?
Nothing.
So it coming.
You starting E.
I'm starting before he starts. That's all.
She's being pretty.
I'm just trying to be ahead of the game.
You know what? And I came today in peace.
You came
Even though
today
I'm
with
wearing the
army
colors of
fatigue.
war.
You came for war, okay?
Right. Okay.
Do I
Anyway-
need to sit in between you
Yeah,
two?
listen, let me tell you something. I ain't warm up yet.
There's no mediation that's going
You know
to
what I mean?
apply in the
Okay.
situation.
Not
Is this a new
never.
phone?
It's a new old phone. Yeah, I had a problem, but anyway. Oh man, we talk at any good brother Rob. Do you have any questions for Sister McKenzie?
I literally just asked you, just trying to throw me in the middle of y'all stuff. But anyway,
Yeah.
ready.
so I
See
know
how he
we're gonna
just,
get to yeah.
I'm not even sitting here, okay.
So, Mrs. McKenzie, I know you said that you dived in athletics and you was an athlete. What sport did you participate in?
Women's basketball. Girls and
wow.
women's basketball.
You was a baller. Okay.
I was a baller. I was
Excuse
a baller.
me.
I can't say that right now, but I
You can say it. You can still say it.
I can
Yeah.
still get on the court, you know, but
Right.
running up and down, yeah, no.
Right.
Not right
Well,
now.
and again, that's definitely a blessing. Oh, hey, Erica, how are you?
I'm great. Can I ask my question?
You got
again?
any questions for?
I have a smorgasbord of
okay.
questions.
Okay, you
Okay.
can start. Start with one or two. please.
Okay, so first off, I met you at a
Women's Day.
at Snyder High School,
I
and I was,
mean,
excuse me, thank
my-
you. I was impressed by your vulnerability, and so impressed that even at that time I said to you, I got to bring you on the show.
Yep. Remember it like it was
And
yesterday.
yes,
Yep.
and not too many people are as vulnerable as you were, and I think you made an impact in that room. But more importantly, you made an impact on the students that you
Yes.
service.
Yep.
I want, because this is Mental Health Awareness Month, I really, really want to get into your story
Yep.
and how important it is for you to get your story out so that other people don't have to necessarily go through it the way you did,
Yep.
but take your story and get through it on the other side better. So please, if you could please share your story.
Yeah,
Yes.
tell us how temples are secret.
Okay, so September 2021, shortly after COVID, and really struggling and battling with personal things as well as just what we all just experienced, right?
Yeah.
So I was definitely suffering from anxiety, depression, suicidal ideation, and that largely was the result of lack of self-care. Okay, I prioritized relationship over myself. I prioritized other people over myself, even my job,
Right.
and to the point of depletion. And that depletion led to a period of 3 days where I didn't sleep and I wasn't eating. And that led me to a manic episode and a state of delirium. And thankfully, I had friends and family that recognized the signs and with that, you know, I was very out of character. You know, I was behaving irrationally and in ways that people were like, you know, something's wrong with Karima. So literally I went to bed one night. I had my friends on the phone with me for probably almost 24 hours to make sure that I wasn't going to do anything to harm myself. So I went from really, really highs to really, really lows, because that's what a manic episode is kind of like, where I was just doing all of these wonderful things, and then I crashed, and then I'm crying, you know, consecutively for days. And then I'm starting to attack myself and think the worst of myself, and think that I'm the worst person, and you know, and then now getting to the point of wanting to end it all. So September 24th is the exact date that I woke up the next morning and just cried and fell in my mother's arms and said, I need help.
Wow.
And I get emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Now, speak your truth. You know, like, and take your time.
You with
know.
family. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Just a conversation.
I said, I need help. And I had to get checked into Jersey City Medical Center, where for 3 days I was still in that manic depressive state. And it took 3 days for me to come to my right state of mind before I realized what actually happened to me. And I was in a psych unit for seven days. And I speak on that number because it's so integral for a number of reasons, especially for numerology,
Yes,
right?
the number of completion.
Number of completion.
Yes.
And so I'm in there. Took 3 days to come to my right state of mind. And when I came to my right state of mind, I had three emotions running through me. The first emotion was fear, right? Obviously, because to end up in that state, I never thought me, right? With all of these accomplishments, right? With all of these things that I've done in my life,
Which makes
that
you the
I
most
would
vulnerable.
end up in that space, right? So that's fear. Second emotion was gratitude, right? Because once I came to my right state of mind, now I'm thankful. I'm like, thank God, like, because I know for a fact, right? Especially in the Black and brown community, we go into these spaces, you're not guaranteed to come out.
Right.
So being back in my right state of mind, because of course I'm heavily medicated for those 3 days.
Right.
And you know what those medications can do as well.
Right.
So, you know, you don't necessarily end up back in your right state of mind.
Yes.
So I came back to my center, came back to being grounded. And then the third motion I felt, which inspired the book, was anger. I was angry that I had went, at that time, 38 years of my life, kind of unscathed and thinking that life was easy. It wasn't until that moment that I understood the simple truth that life is hard.
Yes, it is.
Right.
It's very hard. And the first thing that came out of my mouth, because all I had time to do was sit with my thoughts and kind of pray, you know? And the things that kept coming through was, why didn't everybody tell me the truth?
Right.
And the divine intervention happened, and it was like, you gonna tell it. Like, me? Yeah. I'm like, how? And Spirit's like, you already did. So I reflected, and I do a lot of journaling. And sure enough, probably about 3 years ago, I wrote a journal entry about how to honor your temple. It was more like a sermon in a sense, right?
Right.
So I literally called from the hospital. And I called my mom and said, Mom, I need you to go into this room, into this, you know, in her storage space. This is a green journal. Pull that green journal and get that for me.
Green.
Green. Ashe.
Yes.
Green, bluish journal. And so the rest of the time there, I was like, temples. I haven't been honoring my temple. How can I teach these young adult, young women, young anybody at this point, and even adults at this point? Because what I've realized is that the message is reaching more people than I even imagined it would. And I use temples as an acronym.
Right.
And I created a phrase or a statement for each letter, just to help people honor their temples on a daily basis. And
Would
it's
you
not.
mind?
No, I don't
can you
mind.
share?
It's not something that you have to do every single letter, every single day. But if you take something and apply it every single day, you're on a way to not ending up like I did.
Right.
And that's what this is. It's a preventative measure to honor ourselves, care for ourselves in a way such that we don't end up depleting ourselves emotionally, spiritually, physically, all of these components that are
Now-
super important.
I have a question. You said that you experienced a manic state. Had you experienced that before?
Never in my life.
So you didn't really know what was going on.
I did not.
Okay.
Yeah, most people don't.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, most people don't.
I had no clue.
Yeah, you don't even recognize it in other people until it's something you experience, and it's so off-putting.
Yep.
Because it takes you so far out of your own character, your own
Absolutely.
mental state. So,
Absolutely.
How
yeah.
are you now?
Listen, this book and what I've been able to do with this book in the past year, since I got out, is just divine purpose, mission-driven life. This is all that matters because I'm changing and saving lives. Like,
Yes.
Right.
like nothing even matters, you know? So even on my low vibrational days, I have to, I'm obligated to live by these words.
Because you're preaching it to somebody else.
This book holds me accountable to myself.
Absolutely.
I was just about to say that. Man. I mean, it's
I'm
gonna
held
hold you
accountable to my
right.
own book. I literally
Right.
have to tell myself, hey,
Because
this
you
is
have to
Temple's
live it.
talk. You gotta live. I can't practice. I can't speak it without,
Without
living
living
it.
Right.
So I'm doing phenomenal to answer your question.
Good.
Well,
And I'm
and
glad
that's
to hear
and
that.
and that's great to hear. And like Erica said, it's great to see that somebody was able to be so vulnerable, right? Come out of it, understand the purpose, because some people experience a journey like that,
Yep.
right, and still won't understand that the purpose is to actually share what you experience to help someone else.
Right, right.
And
Correct.
largely, when we suffer something that is so severe, right? That's it. That's the
Life's
attention he was trying to.
transforming.
Right.
Yep.
He was trying to get your attention to actually get you reach deep in yourself and come up with something beautiful like this.
I
Definitely,
don't write
want you
this
to-
if that doesn't happen.
Right.
Right.
I want
Or-
you to
yeah, I don't know if
share
it
the
would come
title,
out.
even though it can be visible. Share the
Yes.
title with the people
Yes.
and let them know where they can get it from.
Yep. The book is titled Temples Are Sacred and So Are You. It is available on Amazon on Kindle. And is also available on my direct website, www.taatsolutions.com.
Now, I also understand that Erica said that she actually had an encounter with you at some platform or
At Snyder.
Right.
Yep.
So do you go on tours or do you do open engagements where you speak?
Yes.
Is there anywhere that any of our viewers out there can invite you in so that you can actually have them have this experience with you and maybe touch other lives who are close to?
Absolutely. So let me tell you, this book, right, aside selling the book, right, it has transformed into an 8-week program,
Oh, wow.
Look at that.
That's amazing.
Right,
which I just
right.
completed my first official program at NJCU, the college students. I had about 9 young women, and it ranged from, I would say, 19 years old up to a 50-something-year-old
Oh,
woman.
wow.
Wow, that's great.
And words can't express the impact that I've made in just short 8 weeks, to the point where at the end they are still first they didn't want it to be over, right? And then they were thankful that again someone sees them.
Yeah.
It's about being seen and being
Right.
understood and being heard and being creating a safe space. So not only am I did it at NJCU, I've been doing it at Snyder the entire year. And I've also had the ability to do it with ABC Kids, a local organization. The turnout for the nonprofit was free, but it wasn't as good as we liked it to be. But I'm still here. I'm still going to be here.
Right.
Still going to continuously promote it, and I'm going to push it out every single year. And hopefully, the
Well, you know why.
city
yeah.
picks it up.
As a
Yeah, go ahead, Rob.
marketer, I just find, especially when it comes to, so if we're talking about muscle health and things like that, people are on with it, right?
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah.
We're in a generation where
Yeah.
when it comes to mental health,
Right.
it's like a stigma that we just can't get over ourselves. So it's almost like hard to hear it, from someone else because we're not dealing with it from within ourselves.
Absolutely.
It's just very, very, very interesting.
I think
So-
that the pandemic really shed a lot of light on the seriousness
Correct.
of mental health.
Yep.
You had people that were taking their lives live, taking the lives of their significant other, their
Yep.
children, like literally on live.
Correct.
And I think that they were pushing at that time, pushing the mental health. It was really getting pushed at that time. There were a lot of celebrities that were talking about it, but I still feel like in our community, it's still taboo.
Always.
Still very
Absolutely.
taboo.
It's still
Absolutely.
very taboo. So what you saying
I think
that
we're turning the curve.
we are
Yeah.
turning,
Slightly.
But,
Yeah.
I think
you know
there's a
why we're
curve,
turning a
'cause this is
curve? For
proof.
conversations like this.
Yeah, this is proof.
We had Ibn Shakur
Yep.
on the show recently,
My
and
brother.
he had a hat on,
Yep.
and his hat said bipolar.
You remember that?
And
resonated.
it resonated.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? Because and it was a red hat at
Yeah.
that. So it's like
Right.
I'm here. See me. You
Yeah,
know what I'm
that,
saying?
that was the diagnosis they gave me. I rebuked that.
You rebuked that.
Right.
You know?
And I would say this, right? You're absolutely right. But what COVID did was it forced us to sit still
Yep.
and have to deal
Deal with our
us.
thoughts. Deal with our own thoughts.
Forget the distractions and all the accomplishments, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right, and all the
Yeah.
other things we participated in
To hide ourselves.
Right.
Yes.
Right, and that's just the ugly truth that we decided we had to deal with.
So you had an opportunity of being freeing, and I think people didn't know who they were outside of their mechanisms.
Right.
Right.
Wake up, go to work, go to school,
Yes.
you know what I mean? And a lot of us, are felt, and this is why we find ourselves in mental breaks, because I personally have gone through something similar. When I realized that I wasn't what I thought I was,
Right.
is what shattered Rashid.
Yeah.
Because it's like at the time I worked at a jail,
Yeah.
watched some crazy thing happen to a person, and I saw it and it shattered things because when that was no longer a part of my identity, but it is all that I put in. It was that's who I was. You couldn't tell anyone, when that shattered, I had nothing else to grasp.
Yes. See,
And
that's
I
when
think
the
that's
most
dangerous.
beautiful
Yeah.
things are created, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
Is in
your
our
crucible.
breaking points,
It's-
right?
yeah, it's terrible that
same
that's
like
the
a
case.
diamond, right?
No,
Right.
When it's
it's
pressed.
Pressure.
Yeah.
And it takes
Yes.
that,
Yeah.
and that's the only way. Like, and shame on the young people who nowadays feel as though that they need instant gratification and they're not supposed to go through anything.
Yes.
Like you have to avoid every scar, every scrape, every scab. No, that's not life and that's not reality.
Correct.
You are not going to be who you are if you don't fall.
Well, the delusion actually is long-standing. So, believe it or not, we might be turning the corner to a point where that might be reality, Because, like I said, it's a softened generation that
Correct.
can't relate with some of the battle scars that we had to see. So, this generation might not have that mental callous, to survive,
Yeah.
your episode or to survive someone else's episode. And that's something
scary,
that really
bro.
needs to be. Well, we're talking about
Scary.
mortality rates and everything else. Statistically, what we're seeing, you've seen a big increase in this as
Right.
well.
Absolutely.
They can't cope.
That is, and again, this is one of the most important reasons why tools like this are necessary, man.
You just took the words out of my mouth.
Man.
Like,
You truly have to
I'm
have something like
preparing
that in your
them
bag, right?
for what life really is
Right.
through this book, right?
So,
Yeah.
so
I
we're
think that-
having conversations around.
Yeah, I think that it's very important to, like you said, with the women that you talked to at NJCU, finally somebody saw them.
Yep.
But more importantly, they saw themselves.
Yes.
And I think part of the problem is, and we kind of touched on it just before the show, people are afraid to be as vulnerable as
Yep.
you were with me or in that room.
Yep.
People are afraid to express their story because they think it's just them that's going through it. So
in
when
judgment,
they hear,
right? We get- we get
judgment,
lost in
exactly.
judgment,
So
yes.
when you come, someone like you, and is vulnerable and you have this book, right? But there are, doctors and professors,
Yep.
and there you could find journals of people who have this format, but they've never been through it.
Correct.
You get what
Right.
I'm saying? It's completely different
And-
talking to someone
and-
who's actually gone through it and is
Right.
on the other side of it.
Right.
Absolutely.
And that's what makes it organic. That's what makes it real, and that's what makes people really gravitate towards it, and it to be a life changer.
It's the
I can't-
relatability
Right.
aspect that she spoke about,
Right.
the school thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You're
Yeah.
one of the community.
Right,
So this
right.
is something, once
Right.
again, yes, you might be going through some kind of mental turmoil, but
Right.
again, I'm not only a client.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
So here's the
And-
beauty in what I did, especially with the NJCU group, is that, you know, I go all in. Like, I create presentations, I create activities, like all hands-on type things when I do this 8-week program. The beauty in what I do is, with each letter, I insert my personal connection to each letter and my story.
Right.
So with the first letter, truth, trauma, trust, and train, I speak on one of my major traumatic experiences and how that impacted my life.
Right.
So I don't just preach. I literally in
You make
each
it
letter
relatable.
make
Right.
it so
Right.
relatable and so transparent about exactly what I went through, why I chose this letter, and what that letter meant for me in my life in that time.
I have another question.
Well,
Yeah,
it's not your
let's go.
turn. It's my turn for a question.
Okay,
Go
I'm sorry.
ahead, brother.
I'm sorry.
I'm ready.
You see that? First she marks my shirt and then she does
Ready for war.
Right.
Ready for war.
And you got on the combat boots.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm about to
getting it.
kick him.
Now, no. Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. My question to you is, okay, so experiencing something like this, right?
Yeah.
What could someone have done to identify something like this sooner? Like, was it anything, any clues or any changes that we could have done as a friend or as a family member who may have been around you? Was it anyone that was around you that seen that you possibly could have been on the edge?
So here's the thing. My episode
I'm
happened
interested in this one.
rather
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's almost like you don't see it coming.
Okay.
Cause especially like to my people, you know, I lived with my mom at the time, and she was like, I don't even know what happened. It was just like overnight in a sense, because
Okay. Right.
I was doing I was on my high. I was doing all these positive, amazing things, right?
Right.
And then it was just like boom, like it just. But the signs leading up to it, I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping, right? If you don't have somebody like literally right next to you, my mom didn't know I wasn't sleeping that much, or that I wasn't
paying
really
attention
eating
to
that
you.
much,
Right,
right?
right.
You know, it's about self-awareness. Self-awareness. Now, you know, I'm kind of used to, you know, doing extreme detoxes and stuff like that on my body. So me not eating was kind of like a norm,
A
in a
norm,
sense,
yeah.
at the
Right.
time. So it's more about self-awareness. Like when I woke up, I knew,
Okay.
you know.
Just
And
saying-
here's the thing: not
right.
everybody will know.
This is an unfamiliar territory.
Yeah, this is when I'm like, okay.
I think it's just
Something's
something
wrong.
that has to be internalized
It
because
has to be.
for a long time, a lot of us are miserable and don't know we're miserable. And then that moment where we find out that we are,
It's awakening.
it's
that
awakening, and then it becomes so like, it's
Yeah.
just one of those things.
So
You-
there's definitely at sometime it can be a point to where I don't care who's around you,
Yep.
they wouldn't really be able to pick up on it.
Correct.
I mean,
Think
do
about
you
the
really
people,
know what's going on
think
with you?
about the
Right,
people
at that
that
time.
have unfortunately committed suicide.
Right.
And those are the people who are the
Right.
most silent.
Right.
You'll never know anything
You're
is
absolutely
happening.
right.
They doing
You're right.
everything normal, regular,
Yes.
you know?
I
But
mentioned
it's-
that with Robin Williams.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
the-
wow.
The
I was
laughter he
literally
thinks,
thinking him.
Every single time I think suicide, Robin Williams comes to my head. So
Yeah.
you might
Because-
just have that negative
And,
association.
They can laugh one
Because
day
he's
and
such
then-
a such a what we thought vibrant,
Impactful and
yeah,
vibrant.
person,
Yeah.
comedian, laughter.
And,
So yeah,
and,
yeah,
it,
yeah.
and, it, and it's sad because I think about the many friends I've lost via suicide, and
Yeah.
it's true.
Yeah.
One good friend of mine, man, I just saw him, 2 days before, and he seemed to be his greater version of himself.
Wow.
You
And
know
people
what I
say,
mean?
no, not this person, not this
Yeah.
person. But we
Right.
don't know what
What-
Eternal
right.
battles,
you know what I
eternal
mean,
wars.
Yes.
I
plaguing
lost
these
a
people.
cousin to suicide on New Year's Eve,
Wow.
2012, and same thing. He was a huge Eagles fan. I'm a Dallas fan, so we always used to go back
Yeah.
and forth.
He was better than you.
Clearly not. But anyway, we're not gonna get into that.
Team Giants. Let's state
Whatever.
That for the record.
I think I'm liking you less now. But it's like you said, you don't see the signs. You don't see the signs. But you touched on something. You saw the signs in yourself,
Correct.
and you wanted help.
Correct. That's
What
the
about the
difference.
people?
That's
The
Right.
self-realization is the
That's
superpower.
the
No, but what
Let's just
about the
call it what it
people
is.
who are stuck there and they don't want help? What can you say to those? Because there's some people
Is
who
it-
are just like, I'm
They
done with
wanna
this
stay
life.
in it.
They
Yeah.
want to
But is
stay in that mindset and they want to end it. They don't want help. What can you say to
But
those
Erica,
individuals?
Is it that they don't want help, or they feel as though no one can help them?
I can speak for myself and say that they don't want help. And the reason why I,
I
say I
can
can
speak for
speak
myself and say I just
Didn't
the
know that you needed
counter.
help.
Like I just,
Didn't think that
I've
anyone
been
could
there.
help.
I didn't think that anyone can. I mean, I went through an episode. I moved out of the state completely. You know what I mean? Just to make sure I wanted to go somewhere where I can decompress, and all I did was self-medicate. You know what I mean? So it is what
That's
it
what
is.
people turn to,
Yeah, like yeah.
right?
that's pretty
Like
much it.
Substance abuse.
when I lost my mother to COVID, I didn't give a fuck. I just didn't want to be here.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, to this day,
It's a
if I
struggle.
was not a mother, I would be laying next to my mother.
But you
think a
have
lot of
anchor.
My
moms feel that way.
children
Yeah,
are
an
the
anchor.
only reason.
Yeah.
This is
A
why
lot
I
of
said
moms
some
feel like that.
people
Some people don't have anchors
don't.
at all.
No. What I'm saying is some people don't want. They just want to end it. And I'm sitting here telling you today, my children are the only reason why I'm sitting here. If I didn't have my kids, I was ready to go.
Believe it or not,
And
that's a lot of
actually, in the-
survivor stories. Though.
In the
People don't
moment,
survive
I
for
wasn't
just
even
them.
thinking about my kids either. I was just like, yo, take me up out of here.
Because that's the actual emotion
Right.
you're dealing
Yeah,
with.
that's
but for the
the-
most
yeah.
part,
Right.
the
Right.
anchoring part of it, the majority of people who survive that, you know what I mean, that dark place, are really surviving because they're thinking about other people.
Right.
That's when you can get out of your own space.
Right.
And I think you're edging towards healing
Right.
because you're just out of your own misery and thinking about the misery you're going to inflict on other people.
Right.
So here's
I don't
what
think
I've
I'm
studied
out of it. And I
Hold
think
on,
some
hold on.
people, right.
about both anxiety and depression.
Right.
The book that changed my life, The Power of Now,
Yes.
Arnold Eckhart,
Yep.
Yeah. Good book.
or Eckhart Tolle, whatever. Yes, Eckhart Tolle, my bad. We focus too much on the past, things we can't change, which doesn't exist, or the future that
That we
hasn't
don't
happened,
know. Right.
Right.
that doesn't exist.
Right.
So the only thing that matters is the present moment. And that's for anybody struggling with all of these things. It's all about them focusing on what's not real.
Right. Instead of dealing with
This
it now.
this moment right here, my hands touching you, this is all that matters in this particular moment. All of us, four of us sitting here,
No, sorry.
whatever's happening outside, none of it matters.
Right.
So if we took our daily moments, and this is a struggle for me, like I have to, because I still struggle with anxiousness, right? But then I have to ground myself in the present moment. What do? Breath work. Breath work. I'm a
You
lot-
center your energy
I
as well.
center
You
my
wear
energy
it.
and
You're
I
wearing
breathe.
Yes,
copper.
I was
You
just
have the
about to
stones.
say, but not just.
I have to.
But
I have
the
to stay grounded
amethyst-
within
Yeah.
myself.
So is the
And-
the
and-
amethyst one of the reasons why you wear that to stay grounded? Because it's a
absolutely.
grounding stone. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. A couple other things that I put
Copper,
on throughout
yeah.
the day. Yeah, but that's what always brings me back to my center, and then having a passion and a purpose, whether that's your children, right? Whether that is something that has to get you through the day every single day, but you have to stay present, and that's all I can advise people who are struggling is stay present. Stop focusing on that which you cannot control.
Yeah. That's right.
It doesn't exist. You're focusing on a reality that doesn't exist.
And learning
You know?
to be able to, and I don't like this sounds cliche, but learning to be able to accept the things that you cannot change.
Absolutely.
You
That's
have
the
to.
hardest part, though.
You
Yeah.
have to.
It's not
And you're,
easy.
you're
And-
given this
and-
false reality that you are, captain of your fate.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like master of your own destiny
Right.
from, pretty much Inception. Like you get here
Yes.
and that's just really what it
Yeah,
is.
right.
So to feel helpless or feel like things are out of your control when the only thing you might have ever had control over was you and your emotional
Right.
state.
Absolutely.
It's so off-putting.
Right.
And I think people don't understand how easily we are to turn to break.
Suffering is a state of mind.
Yeah, it definitely
really
is.
is.
And I was about to say that. You choose to suffer.
Yeah.
That's a choice, right? That's a choice. And it's so important, right? And I'll say this, man. A few years ago, I definitely, like I said, I definitely was the the superhero in my own world. You know what I mean? Trying to save everybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's gonna be impossible, people.
Mm-hmm.
You can't. I'm sorry. I don't care who you are. You're not gonna be able to save everybody. Start off by saving yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Saving yourself.
And you can be pulled in. People don't understand. We talk about the, like the copper frequency,
Yep.
the vibe. These things, and
What you-
more than anything
wanna
else,
go-
in my
what you listen
opinion,
to.
Yes.
what you're listening to, that
Yeah.
energy that goes on, you have to protect yourself because those
Absolutely.
are like things chipping away at your mental space.
Absolutely.
Yes,
And it's
yes.
important that you acknowledge that. You know, and I mean, you are what you eat. You are who you are
Come
around.
on with the eat. Eat
Like
to
these-
live. Come
Yes.
on, brother.
These things are essentially you.
Yes.
Be mindful.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I think that we do not encourage each other enough to be those positive.
Let's go vegan, bro.
spheres.
Yes.
I've been trying to get you here for
Team vegan, baby.
Let's do it.
5 years. Let's go.
Hey, what's up? You already know.
This
I'm
is
not
the
vegan.
this is the only part of the show where Kali and I are going to agree.
What's up?
We not doing that.
Get him on here.
I'm gonna do
trying to get 'em on
vegan.
air.
I'm gonna do vegan Thursdays. Is that a thing?
We gonna make it
They
a
have,
thing.
Vegan
they have
Thursday?
meatless
Monday. They have
Meatless
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 Monday.
Monday.
Meatless. Oh,
We could
okay.
do that. We could do that, Kali.
Hey, all right.
And listen, I will hold you accountable. And you hold
Okay.
every Monday. I'm gonna text
All right.
you. We
Yeah.
meatless today.
Me meat. No meat. Now, hold on now. That
No,
means
no, no.
something
I really
twice
gotta
for
speak
you.
to that,
Now,
though.
so
Can I really speak to that?
yeah,
No,
that's a double.
That
Yeah,
doesn't-
that's
no.
a double.
We
Yeah, I
talk
like
about
that
the
one.
meat that we consume.
That's a
Never
double
mind. I'm not
dip.
even gonna say
Nah,
that.
let me tell you. No, no.
Never mind.
Anyway, go
Part
ahead,
of my
my sister.
Can we
testimony.
just
Seriously,
yeah?
part of my
Let's stay
testimony.
on the
Please.
topic.
Part of my testimony,
This is
okay,
called Blessed to the City.
is while I was deep in my anxiousness and depression, I went 90 days raw food. Let me tell you, by the end of those 90 days,
You had mad energy.
not only mad energy, okay, but I was vibrating at a frequency that, like, everybody was like, whoa, who's this Karima?
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
You know, completely transformed mentally. So the food does play a role. That's all I want to say.
I wanna-
and it's true. Go ahead.
I
I
want to
detox on a
quickly.
regular
I
basis.
just want to quickly shout out to the watchers, the viewers right now.
We lit. We lit.
Let me tell you, not only are we lit, you got mad family on here, so I love the
Hey, let's
support.
go, family.
I did not know
I love
you know
y'all.
Scott McKenzie,
Yes,
but
I mean,
yeah,
McKenzie,
yeah, but I
yeah.
wasn't even thinking that. I know him from NJCU.
don't think a lot,
But
but go ahead.
your sister is always on. Shakira, she's always on. But we got a lot of people on. But what I really, really like is how people on here are talking about, you know, what we can do. And they're talking to one another. So they have
nice.
people who are talking
Chiming
about. We
in.
have
Beautiful.
Christina Stoney who said, as a social worker and working on hotlines, some people are scared to ask for help or don't know where to get help and needed someone to hold their hand to get help. So for those people who are watching this right now, you know, that's what B.L.E.S.C is here for.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We will help you get the help that you need.
Yeah.
You know, you can reach out to us. Our email address is conversationswithbless@gmail.com. You can reach out to Bless by going on the Bless website at bless.org. Is that correct, Rashid?
Bless.org,
yeah.
Bless.org. Reach out to us
You can go knock on the door of the office.
of the office and just reach out to us. We can definitely link you with some groups and some organizations. We could link you with
Yep.
Miss Karima McKenzie and her 8-week program,
Let's go.
her book. Because sometimes, you know, if you read it, you know,
Yes.
you can start to apply it. So I just wanted to shout out to the people who are the viewers who are watching, and we're helping you, they're helping each other, and that's what's important. But I did want to say, I'm sorry, because I did have a question before. Okay, so we have speaker, author,
Yeah.
educator. Could you please explain to me what is a lovist? Because that's another one of your hats.
Yes.
So I would like to know. I was reading your bio,
I mean, you
and
just
that
asked me. I've been a lovish, you know what I mean?
that kind of stood out to me.
Y'all are too
Play-
much.
But she, you see,
No, I've
You
been
see?
a lovish, you know what
All
I mean?
right, let's get it.
let's get into it because I have an idea of where you're going with it. I kind of read down on the bio, so I know that you're talking about a different type of love than what this fool talking about. But can you please elaborate on Karima the Lovist and what does that mean and how can other people adapt that
Yeah, Miss
mentality?
McKenzie, because you had me scared a little bit. But go ahead.
All right,
I'll
so
tell you a story later. But go ahead.
No, we don't. We don't want to hear. the story.
Lovist derived from the self-love journey that I took. Okay, so that was when I needed to escape. I left Jersey City and I spent about a month and a half between Arizona and Jamaica. And on that self-love journey, I read a few more books. All About Love by Bell Hooks, Untamed by Glenn Doyle, two other life-changing books. But what I understood through that book, and I was also raised Christian, and one of my favorite verses of scriptures is 1 Corinthians 13, which explains what love really is.
Love is kind. Love is patient. Love does not boast.
And it's funny
Not
how you
self-seated.
remember
Not
all that.
self-seated.
It's funny how you remember all that, Erica. But anyway.
I know my Bible
But-
from Genesis to
Yeah,
Revelation.
because
Y'all come
you
on
always
with it.
want to know what
No,
not to
but-
do and
No,
how you do it. But anyway, go ahead.
I am
Excuse me. I'm
okay,
speaking
I'm
to the
sorry.
lovers.
Across all the books that I was reading, it rooted me back into that one passage of scripture. And I recognized that I wanted to be Christ conscious, right? In a way that I approach my life, in a way that I approach people and interact with people. I am a vessel of unconditional love. And that's why I call myself the unconditional lover, because even when I'm not being treated the way that I need to be treated, I come back to my root of unconditional love, and I find a way, as hard as it is, Lord Jesus, I find a way to find the unconditional love for that person, because I understand that the people that treat me in a certain way is treating me that way as a result of their own unhealed trauma.
That's right. Hurting
At the
people
end of
hurt
the day,
people. We
basically.
say that all the
Hurt
time.
people, yes.
Absolutely.
You
So-
put out a
It's
lot of books, and I think that that's important because I think that I hated self-help books. Because I'm like, I'm gonna tell you why. They're boring to me, right? Well, they were very boring to me until the pandemic.
Everybody started reading
went
it, right?
exactly. And one of the books that really helped me was The Four Agreements.
That's another
Okay.
one.
So
That's another one.
and
Acceptance.
I can't remember the author name, Ruiz.
Miguel.
Ruiz.
Yeah. Ruiz.
That I'm telling you, when you are trying to be a people pleaser, when you are trying to figure out yourself, when you are the hardest on yourself, that book is a really important book. I have gifted that book to so many. When people come to me and they just start talking to me like you know, I'm an empath.
Yeah.
So people will just come to me and share their stories, and I'm like, I know exactly what you need to read.
Yeah.
So as you're telling me the books, I'm writing them all down
Yep.
because they might not be for me, but I might find somebody who may need them. So what other books can you suggest that may have helped you on your journey? We know your book.
Yeah.
You wrote your book
Well,
because
start
it
off
helped.
with your
Yeah.
book first and then work your way. With,
Work
I
your
say,
way, yeah.
3 more.
All right. So, what do you want to start with my book? What part about my book?
What part of your book do you think that would resonate with people who are maybe at a stage in their life where they don't know the
They
signs?
lack purpose and they don't know when they have they're breaking in.
Yes.
Yeah. So, the first chapter and the 5th chapter are my favorite.
Okay.
The first chapter is that truth, right?
Mm-hmm.
That raw truth that life is hard, and identifying your traumas, right? That's the first step to healing.
Identification.
You got to know
What's going on?
what has caused you to be who you are today, and that's the root. You gotta get to the root. And the beauty of what I did in my book is I have 3 questions, guiding questions for journal prompts after each chapter, to give them the blueprint, right? That's the starting point. You got to start with your traumas, right? After you dig into your traumas and you understand who you are and what has caused you to create these patterns of behavior within yourself, then you have to make that decision at that point. Okay, do I want to change these patterns and behaviors? Because if you don't want to change them, people go on like they are, and they be like, "This just the way I am," which is the
Patterns
most
are defining. Yeah.
which is the
I'm
most
good.
hated phrase. I just can't stand when people say that's just who I am. No, you are a product of what you've been through.
Right.
It's
What you
very
experience.
limiting.
So that's the starting point. And then my 5th chapter, love and learn. Like
It's literally the one that's here.
literally the one that's there.
Literally the
Wow.
one that's right here.
Love and learn.
Let me show
And
that to Erica.
I like that because
Love and
people
learn.
are so used to saying live and learn.
No, but see that?
No,
love
yeah,
and
but-
So I like the fact that
Yeah.
it's love and learn.
So,
Love and learn.
yeah, take a
I
mental
agree with
picture of that.
a lot
Right.
more.
So
Yeah, love
I
it.
love that you got a cup right there because I'm about to use that thing.
Right, yeah, because her cup is a little empty.
Yeah, see.
Or it's half full.
Oh,
Ah.
Or it's not
perception.
even water.
right. Ooh.
That's a new one. I just read that. I literally just read that there are pessimists, there are realists, and there's craziest.
Okay, literally
So-
let the love in.
Let the love inside.
Yeah.
Hey, good job, brother.
Huh.
So my phrase that I live by now is that self-love is the only love. It's the only love that exists.
Right.
Okay? Why do I believe that? Because we are no good to anybody if we're not good to ourselves.
Okay.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Now, here's the reality. This cup represents you. This is your love for self. Right now, it's here. So that means you got some work to do.
Why he looking at? Okay.
Okay? So, yes, give me that. I'll take that.
Don't
Every
mess up my
single-
water.
No, I'm not
going to
pour
drink it.
nothing
No, I'm
in
just
it.
playing. No,
But-
go ahead.
but-
There's more water there. Go ahead.
But
use
the
it.
key is to pour into you,
Right.
right? Constantly. Anything that edifies you, builds you up, encourages you, the reading, the
Go ahead.
praying,
Show the people the visual. Go ahead. Go
pour
ahead.
in, keep pouring, keep pouring, keep pouring, keep pouring. Eventually, what happens with this cup?
It's gonna overflow.
It's gonna overflow, right? And then the liquid, whatever liquid you choose, is gonna go where?
Spills out.
Spills out. It's gonna fill
gonna
this
be
room.
infectious, right.
Right. That's what love is.
I
That's
think
my
why
description.
I was a little confused as it's the only love. I think it's the most potent and I don't know how people can
when I
love
say
people.
only,
Yeah.
right? I'm saying once this cup is filled, right? Then your love.
Everything you touch, everything.
Right.
I get it. I
Yeah.
So
totally
can
get
you
it.
not love people if you don't love yourself?
Good question.
Yeah. Could you not love people if you don't love yourself?
Yeah.
I don't think.
I don't think you can.
You can love them
I
properly.
definitely don't believe that you can.
You can't love them
You
properly.
cannot.
because you don't,
Whatsoever.
because you don't understand. Because you don't
and
understand
that's
love.
and that's
Right.
the
You don't know what it is.
50% reason for divorce rates and relationships
Right.
that just can't function or exist is because most people are often outpouring, and their cup is not full.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Not
then there,
allowed
what
to be
happens?
full.
Resentment, anger,
Right.
all these different emotions, but people don't know where it's coming from. It's because of their inner void
That's right.
that they haven't filled within themselves. So
Miss
I have
McKenzie,
one
wait, no. We're about to wind down. I
Okay,
would like
yeah,
to
it's
wind
time.
down.
to tell the
Dang,
people.
what?
I know.
The
We
hour,
have to
no
have you back
way.
on.
Yeah.
Yes. We have to have you back on. Please tell the people where they can find your book, please.
yes, so again, it is on Amazon, and you got to know that this is the only title that exists as such. So temples are sacred, and so are you. As soon as you type in temples, it should come right up on Amazon.
Beautiful.
And on my direct website, www.taatsolutions.com. Drop a dub. It's worth it. It's a lifetime book that you're going to need. And this is a book that you can get through in literally 15 minutes, but you can also take 3 months if you're really diving in like you're supposed
Beautiful,
to.
man. I just want to thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you for having
good
me.
brother
I'd
Rod,
love
you
to
got
be
any
back.
closing words? Brief.
I mean, just real quick. I think because I'm huge and I'm mad that I didn't even get a chance to listen to the list of the actual
Right.
3 other books.
Right.
So I'll throw out 3 of my favorites.
Yep.
Of course, we have Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, because it's not just talking about, relationships with money. It's talking about it in itself as well. The Power of Habit is an excellent book as well because it really talks to those paradigm shifts that you really, really need in order for you to actually be aware of, certain things that are going on in your life. And of course, I think like the best new book that's out there right now on the market, it's called Temples Are Sacred and So Are
Yay,
You.
let's
Beautiful.
go.
So when you get a chance, you definitely look this up on Amazon and definitely get your copy. I saw that she brought extra copies where herself, so
Yes.
I'll definitely be leaving here with one.
Erica, brief.
Brief, really brief. I just want to commend you for looking at yourself and realizing that you need the help, one,
Yep.
and then asking for the help, and then turning that into your purpose, because you could have just went on with your life
Easily.
but you made it your purpose to say, you know what, I went through this for a reason. God gave me the divine intervention, so I need to help somebody else get through this. So
That's
I want
a
to
second
thank
longer than
you
brief.
for your vulnerability. I want to thank you for coming on the show, my sister.
Thank
Keep
you.
doing the work,
That's a second more longer than brief.
and we love you.
I love you guys
we
too.
we definitely do love you. I appreciate you coming on the show, and I just want the good people to please look up the title of the book.
Yes, support.
You're doing some brilliant things. We appreciate you,
Thank
and we
you.
thank you for coming on the show. Good people out there, I just want you to know that. Listen, man, meditate,
That's the end.
fast, and practice.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 things that I need y'all to focus on. All right, meditate, fast, and practice. That's how I get through all of my problems. I'm not talking to some of my best friends or talking to people who want to just tell me what I want to hear. I meditate, fast, and then I practice. So listen, guys. Erica, you want to close the show and please vote?
Please vote June 6th. You know where to go. Go to your local areas where you're supposed to vote. Make the choice. Make your voices heard. Peace and love.
Peace
And we
love.
out.
We out.
Peace.